Happy Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025. First week in December, last month of 2025. I say this every year. Everybody always says this, but man, 2025 flew by. Can't believe we are almost done with the year. My name is Zach Pasquarello. I make these videos every day because I'm trying to teach you how to start a bookkeeping business. I'm trying to pass along the lessons that I've learned, the mistakes that I made. So hopefully you can fast track to success. That's kind of the whole point. If you're watching live on YouTube right now, feel free to ask me a question. Drop a comment in the chat. I will do my best to answer everybody's questions after I get done going through my notes. If you're listening to my podcast, thanks for listening. You can also check out the video on YouTube. I have the exact same name, bookkeeping expert Zach Pasquarello, on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. If you're watching the replay of this video, consider joining me live. I go live every day at 10 a.m. ish, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, so let's talk about it. How my monthly bookkeeping clients pay me every month. This is perfect time to talk about it because yesterday, the first of the month, I just got paid by all my bookkeeping clients. I have 70 bookkeeping clients. They pay me on average $500 per month, which means I'm making $35,000 per month recurring revenue from my bookkeeping clients. So when I got started, I would manually create the invoice every month. On the first day of the month, I would log into my QuickBooks, I would create the invoice. I would actually download the invoice and then email it to my clients. And this was a fine process for the first 5, maybe 10 clients. It worked. It wasn't a big deal. But as you can imagine, if I did that for 70 clients every month, that would be insane. That would be a lot of work. So I had to figure out how to improve my processes as my business grew. And if I could recommend something to you, I would recommend treat your business like you already have 40 clients. Try to think of things that you could do now that would set you up for success as your business grows. So try to operate efficiently now. Try to implement processes and strategies now that will enable you to grow in the future. So let's talk about how I do that now, managing 70 clients. Number one, client agreement. Every time I onboard a new client, I send them a client agreement. Actually, let's go back a step. Number 0, how do my clients pay me? Everybody pays me a fixed monthly rate. I do not bill hourly. I bill a fixed monthly rate and they pay me in advance. So everybody paid me on December 1st for bookkeeping in December. That way I protect myself. If a client doesn't pay me by December 20th, then I will reach out multiple times at that point if they have not paid their December invoice. Now, come January 1st, if they still have not paid their December invoice, I'm going to stop providing bookkeeping services until they pay their December and January bill. That way, absolute worst case scenario, if I get burnt by a client, I'm only out 1 month instead of the other way around. If I bill them on January 1st for work completed in December and then I go the whole month and they don't pay me, then I'm 2 months behind instead of 1 month behind. So I always bill upfront. And it's also nice if and when a client leaves, they're always like, "How much do I owe you?" And I'm like, "Hey, don't worry about it. You don't owe me anything. You're all paid up. Appreciate you working with me. Have a great day." And I feel like that's always kind of nice for the client. Like after we part ways, they can be like, "Oh, that was a really nice departure. I don't have to pay any cancellation or termination fees. I don't have to pay for an extra month of bookkeeping." So I think that's nice for the clients. Even when you lose a client, you still want to end on good terms. You never want to burn a bridge because you never know when they might turn into a referral or they might come back to you. Okay, so that's step number 0. People pay me a fixed monthly rate on the first of the month in advance. Now, step number 1, client agreement. So I bill monthly. So in my client agreement, let's just say the price for my services will be $500 per month, billed on the first of the month. And then I get their ACH information. So let's talk about 2 different things. Number 1, ACH origination, or number 2, just sending invoices to be paid by QuickBooks Online through their payment processor. So let me touch on ACH origination first, and then I'll talk more about QuickBooks Online as a payment processor. So ACH origination, this is how I do it. You might not do it like this. Not many people, excuse me, not many people do it like this, but ACH origination. So I have through my business bank account, I've got treasury management. Sometimes they call it cash management. And I have what's called ACH origination. But I had to apply for it. I had to submit tax returns and I had to basically get approval. So you might not be able to get approved for ACH origination because there is a lot of power with this. So basically, I can get your account number and routing number, and I can pull your monthly payment on the first of the month. So instead of you paying me, I can actually pay myself from your bank account. So not everybody can do this. You have to get approval. And because there's a lot of power, like I can literally pull money from other people's bank accounts into my bank account. So they don't just give access to anybody. So that's why I'm not going to talk about it too much. This is how I do it. I recommend try to do it. Try to get it set up if you can. If you can't, no problem. No problem. Now let's talk about sending invoices using QuickBooks Online as a payment processor. So every time you onboard a new client, they invite you to your QuickBooks, so they automatically get added as a client in your QuickBooks account. And then you can go create a recurring transaction. So in QuickBooks, go to the customer page, go to that particular customer, go over to recurring transactions and create an invoice recurring monthly on the first of the month, and then enable QuickBooks as a payment processor. And now you can get paid ACH or you can get paid with a credit card. QuickBooks charges 1% to process ACH, 3% to process credit cards. So choose wisely. I typically only do the ACH option. And then if they ask to pay with a credit card, I will say yes, but there is a 3% convenience fee. So I will send them the invoice, $500, no fee. You can pay using QuickBooks. And the cool thing about setting up a recurring transaction in QuickBooks, now your client can set up recurring auto pay if they choose. You can also create a sales receipt. You can create a recurring sales receipt, and you can also automatically process their payment directly in QuickBooks. But the fees are pretty expensive, 1%, 3% ACH versus credit card. That's why I prefer to do ACH origination from my bank account directly. It's much more affordable than going through QuickBooks. But if you don't have the ACH capabilities through your bank, then QuickBooks is the next best option. So the invoice or the sales receipt gets created on the first of the month, automatically recurring, gets sent to the client, or the payment gets processed. And then you can set up automatic reminders. So you can have the invoice due on receipt immediately or due in 5 days or 10 days or 30 days. I recommend due on receipt. Just keep it simple. It goes out December 1st. It's due December 1st. Now you can set up automatic reminders in QuickBooks Online to automatically get sent. So you can set it up, I don't know, 3 days after the due date, 10 days after the due date, 14 days after the due date. You can set up 3 reminders, but this will apply to all of the invoices in QuickBooks. So you want to make sure you really want to send automatic reminders to all of your customers, but it can be really helpful for collecting accounts receivable. So that's really it. That's how my monthly bookkeeping clients pay me every month. I try to keep it super simple, super straightforward. Everybody pays me on the first of the month. I don't want to stagger it. I don't want to mix it up. I don't want some paying me on the 15th, some paying me on the 30th, some paying me on the 1st. Keep it simple. All my clients pay me on the first day of every month. Also, what I recommend, have an Excel spreadsheet. Have a tracker with all your clients and how much they pay you. Check in your QuickBooks every month to make sure all of your clients are paying you every single month. Even to this point, I still keep track of it. I still double check every single month, especially as your business grows 10, 20, 40, 80 bookkeeping clients. You want to double check to make sure all the invoices are in there, because I know it sounds crazy. As your business grows 20 clients, 30 clients, you will start to lose track of your clients and your monthly payments. So that's it. All right. Let's get to the questions. Let's see. If you're watching live and you want to ask some questions about anything, it can be about QuickBooks, bookkeeping, sales, marketing, customer service, onboarding clients, cleanup projects, anything you want. It can also be totally unrelated to bookkeeping if you prefer. So ask me questions in the chat and I will stick around as long as people are asking questions in the chat. Before I go to answer people's questions, I will briefly mention this video is sponsored by my investment fund, Zip Capital. So I am actually transitioning away from Harrisburg Bookkeeping and I'm moving full-time towards Zip Capital. And so I am not taking on new bookkeeping clients. I have 70 clients right now. I'm hoping over the next 2 to 3 years that my bookkeeping business kind of slowly goes away, and then Zip Capital ramps up. So right now I'm managing a $4 million real estate loan portfolio. So I do real estate private money lending for Pennsylvania real estate investors, fixing and flipping properties, and also buying long term rentals. I offer short term bridge funding. So, short term loans, all secured by a mortgage on the real estate. I'm charging them 12% interest plus an origination fee. So, that's how I'm able to offer investors into my fund 8 to 12% fixed returns. If you want to learn more, if you want to register, if you want to talk with me about Zip Capital, you can register on my website. There is a link down below where you can register. Keep in mind, however, you need to have $25,000 is the minimum. 25,000, but if you have $25,000 or more and you want to invest, that's amazing. Reach out. I would love to talk. First question, Amanda Rose Kelly. Hi, Zach. What's your system for general contractors? How do you know which expense go to which projects for project tracking? It's pretty complicated. So as they go to Home Depot and Lowe's and as they pay their contractors, I can see in the bank feed, in the QuickBooks bank feed, I can see who they're paying. I can see that they paid Home Depot. I can see when they did it, December 2nd, Home Depot, $500. But I don't know which project it has to go to. So what I do is I will send them a spreadsheet. I will export the transactions from QuickBooks into a spreadsheet and I will say, hey, Mr. Client, here's a list of all of your contractor payments and your job supplies. Can you please, in this spreadsheet specifically, can you please write down which transaction goes to which property? And then I go back into QuickBooks and I categorize those transactions appropriately and I allocate them to the property. I do charge extra for project tracking. Brent Killian, is there a reason you use PandaDoc over other e-sign services like the standard plan on Google Docs? Nope. So Google Docs, I started using PandaDoc 3 or 4 years ago. I'm not so sure that Google Docs had the e-sign service that they do have now. That might be why I went with PandaDoc. I think whenever I got started, it was either PandaDoc or DocuSign were my two options, and I just went with PandaDoc. There is really no reason. I'm sure that there's better software or different software you could use now, but there's really no specific reason. I've just been using PandaDoc for the past 3 years, and I'm probably just going to keep using it. Maybe I'll switch to Google. I don't know. PandaDoc's pretty expensive. That is one bad thing. PandaDoc is very expensive. Bookkeeping Conroe. Zach, good morning. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Yesterday, I connected on LinkedIn with someone who gave me a great website and marketing advice, and I improved my website and marketing strategy. That's amazing. That's the cool thing about being on social media, being on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. You just never know who you might meet. So that's awesome. Chili Davids. Hey, Zach, do you handle accounts receivable and accounts payable weekly? Or would you have to do it as soon as the client sends you the billing and invoice information? Accounts receivable, that's kind of on the spot. So if a client sends me an invoice that needs to be sent, then I will do that on the spot. Just yesterday, I sent out 2 invoices for 2 different clients. It really doesn't take that long. I sit on my computer at my desk all day and I'm in QuickBooks all day. So as soon as a client sends me an invoice that needs to be processed, I just submit it. You probably could set up a system where you only create invoices once a week. That's how I do it with accounts payable. So whenever I process payments for my clients, I only do it on a particular day of the week because accounts payable needs to be approved. So they will approve payments on Wednesday and then I'll pay all of their payments on Thursday, just as an example. So I'll submit the payments on Thursday and then they'll process on Friday and be deposited into our vendors and contractors bank account on Friday. So yes, typically it is weekly with accounts payable. Accounts receivable is usually impromptu on the spot, but you could certainly set that up to be done weekly as well. Typically, your clients want invoices to be sent ASAP because if you wait until Friday to send an invoice instead of sending it on Monday, that's just an extra 5 days you're going to have to wait to get paid. So accounts receivable are usually a little bit more time sensitive than accounts payable. People try to get paid as fast as possible and pay as slow as possible. The Book of Balance. Hi, Zach. Question. Do you reach out and try to make new LinkedIn connections on the weekend, or you do 30 a day because you don't do weekend invites? It all depends. Sometimes I'll do the weekend, depending on how I feel, depending on if I wake up early that day. Sometimes I'll send invites on the weekend. Sometimes I don't. I definitely do Monday through Friday, but sometimes I'll skip Saturday and Sunday. So yeah, I would say 30 is usually just Monday through Friday, unless I'm feeling extra ambitious on Saturday. But yeah, usually just the Monday through Friday. But if you have time, like I've got 5 young kids and I'm pretty busy. So if you don't have any kids or you don't have a ton of responsibilities on the weekend, I'd say go for it. Send out some extra connection requests on LinkedIn. Yeah, you never know. Michelle, hi Zach. Could you do a video explaining how to find clients on LinkedIn? I only seem to be able to find other bookkeepers. I don't know how to set it up to suggest business owners as connections. Michelle, go back through my videos very recently. A couple weeks ago, I just made a video talking about this exact same thing. I said like how I use LinkedIn Sales Navigator to grow my bookkeeping business. So definitely recommend, Michelle, check out that video that I made. It should be pretty easy to find. It was pretty recently. So go back through like the last 2 weeks and you should be able to find it. DFOS, hey Zach, I've been using your marketing strategy for about 2 months and have one client so far. Congratulations, one client is better than no clients. Slow and steady. I recommend try to get 1 to 2 clients per month. So you are exactly on track. You are on track. So proud of you. Don't give up. You are at that point now where people get frustrated and give up. You have some success. You have one client already. Don't give up. December, November are historically slow months. So don't get discouraged this month if it's slow. People aren't thinking about business as much. It's slow, but January, February, March, going to be crazy. So keep marketing, keep spreading the good news. And January is going to be a good month. I've got a good feeling. Excuse me. Sorry if you can't tell, I'm a little bit sick. Hopefully, I think the whole family is on the up and up. So hopefully, we start feeling better here soon. Alec, good morning, Zach. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. What is your process on deciding what day you will dedicate to doing weekly bookkeeping on a new client? I will typically just I will try to add them to whatever day currently has the lightest load. So I'll just look to see like which day has the fewest clients. Like if you've got 9 clients and every day has 2 clients, but one day only has one, just throw them on the day that has one. So chances are one of your days will be a little bit lighter. There's not an exact science process for doing it, but and then I also might try to like group together similar clients. There's really no exact, and then you can always mix it up. Like if you've got too many clients on Thursday and not enough clients on Tuesday, you can just simply move some clients from Thursday over to Tuesday. It's not a big deal. Turmoil. You think it's okay offering basic bookkeeping with zero actual work in accounting? I have done my community college course and QBO cert, but I still feel uncomfortable jumping straight into it. Yes, turmoil, I think it's totally fine. So here's the thing, you need to understand 2 things. You need to know bookkeeping fundamentals. So understand debits and credits, assets, liabilities, equity, income, expenses, accounts payable, accounts receivable, and how they all work together through debits and credits. Understand double entry accounting, the bookkeeping fundamentals, and then you already have the QuickBooks online certification. So I think you are good to go. With that being said, always continue improving, learning, educating. Always continue improving your skills. So don't stop here. You have a good baselines, continue to learn more. But realistically, if you wait until you have the perfect amount of experience, you're never going to get started. So get started today, start marketing, continue learning, continue researching. You might get a client in 30 days, you might get a client in 90 days. So start marketing today with the hope of getting a client in the next 30 days, and then just in the meantime, continue learning more about QuickBooks and bookkeeping. Scream season. Hey Zach, do you have a CRM system or do you do it on your own? I don't have a CRM. I've never been a big CRM guy. That's just my personal preference. But yeah, no, sorry. I do not have a CRM that I use. What are the benefits of using Bank ACH over QuickBooks ACH? It's cheaper. So QuickBooks charges 1%. I think it maxes out at like $15 maybe. So if somebody's paying you $1,000, QuickBooks is going to charge you $10 to process that ACH transaction. And my bank, there's a flat fee to sign up. It's like $50, maybe $75, a flat fee per month to sign up. But then after that, it's super cheap. It's like 7 cents per transaction. So if you've got $7,000 to $10,000 of monthly revenue that you're processing, it once you get to that $7,000 to $10,000, it would be cheaper to transition over to the ACH origination, depending on how much your bank charges on a flat monthly fee. How long will bookkeeping still be a good business until AI takes over? So, this comes up all the time. Of course, here's a couple things. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I can't control what's going to happen in the future. I can only control what's going to happen today. Here's my philosophy. If I knew for a fact that bookkeeping would be 100% dead in 2 years, I would honestly still probably recommend start a bookkeeping business today because of the skills you're going to learn, the connections you're going to make, the marketing, the sales experience, the business experience, the finance, the accounting, the bookkeeping experience. You will be able, just look at me. I started my bookkeeping business almost 6 years ago now. And then I transitioned to real estate, private money lending. And now I've got an investment fund. I would never have been able to start Zip Capital, my investment fund, without the 6 years of experience that got me to this point. So use bookkeeping as a stepping stone. That's only if AI actually takes over. So if AI actually takes over completely in 2 or 3 years, that's okay. Just use the skills you've learned as a bookkeeping business owner to pivot and transition into something new. Now, that's an extreme example. Chances are AI is not going to take over in 2 years. AI will probably never 100% take over. You will not be replaced by artificial intelligence, but instead, you will be replaced by people who know how to leverage artificial intelligence. So don't be afraid of artificial intelligence. We are not competing with AI. We are competing with other people who know how to use AI. So the way you can hedge your future is by learning how to use AI. Become competitive with other people who know how to use AI. Don't be afraid of it. Think of it like a tool. Think of it like the internet 20 years ago, the computer 30 years ago. I'm sure people were thinking computers were going to take over, or people were probably people who were born in the 50s. I don't know. People who were born in the 50s, they might have been in the job market in the 90s, and then computers come around, and then they're probably reluctant a little bit, like I don't know about this, I don't really want to work with computers. But then the 2000s come around and everybody's working on computers. So if you knew how to use a computer in the 2000s, probably benefited you a lot. If you knew how to use the internet in the 2000s, probably benefited you a lot. So don't be afraid of it, don't avoid it, learn how to use it. Next question. Do you need to have, nope, let's see. Simple Wealth Invest. Why is the best way to get my first client without social media posting where current employer can see? What is the best way to get my first client? I don't know. I don't know. Short answer. The strategy I teach is social media marketing. I teach that strategy not because it's the best, it's just simply the strategy I used. There are 100 different ways of acquiring customers. You could do paid advertising, you could have a website optimized for SEO, you could have a blog, you could have a Google My Business profile, you could advertise on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. You could go to conferences, you could go to networking events in person, you could send out flyers in the mail, you could have a billboard, you could have a TV commercial, you could have affiliates, you could have referral partners, 100 different ways to get clients. I only teach social media marketing because that's just the marketing strategy I did and I know best. Do you need to have accounting experience to do bookkeeping? So, accounting, bookkeeping, pretty similar. Bookkeeping is a form of accounting, I think. So accounting, in my opinion, is like an accountant is somebody is like kind of a generic term. A bookkeeper is a specific type of an accountant. Kind of. There's probably going to be some pushback. People might say an accountant is like one step above a bookkeeper, But there's also some bookkeepers who do some pretty advanced accounting. Like if you do, so there's don't get don't get hung up on this. What is an accountant? What is a bookkeeper? For a small business owner, there are four different people who do accounting related tasks for a business. There's fractional CFO, tax preparer, payroll, and bookkeeping. Those are the four. Notice I didn't say anything about accounting. Those are the four things that kind of fall under the umbrella of accounting: controller slash CFO, payroll, taxes, and bookkeeping. So everything I talk about is bookkeeping. And bookkeeping is recording transactions, reconciling accounts, and generating financial reports. Tax preparer, tax strategy picks up where bookkeeping leaves off. So the bookkeeper prepares the financial reports, and the tax accountant, the tax strategist, the controller, the CFO, they pick up where the bookkeeper leaves off. So they take the financial reports and they analyze the reports. They do budgeting, they do forecasting, they do tax strategy, they do tax preparing. And then payroll is kind of off on its own little world. Payroll is like totally separate. Payroll kind of mixes in with bookkeeping, controller, and taxes. But yeah, hopefully that was a good explanation. So let's talk about the nurse and doctor analogy. So, and once again, accountant, I don't really like that word because it confuses people. So really don't think of it like accountant. Instead, think of it like bookkeeper and tax preparer. Or instead of tax preparer, you could say CPA or you could say enrolled agent. So bookkeeper and tax preparer is related to nurse and doctor. So bookkeeper, tax preparer, all doing accounting stuff. Nurse, doctor, all doing medical stuff. The bookkeeper takes care of the client on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. If you go to the hospital, you're going to see the nurse 90% of the time. The doctor only comes in at the end to sign the prescription or to perform the surgery or to provide the diagnosis. The nurse takes care of you 90% of the time. The nurse is very smart. The nurse knows a lot about medicine, a lot about your body. The nurse could probably figure out what's wrong with you, but they're not the licensed medical professional. So every time you go get an x ray, every time you go to the doctor and meet with the nurse, of course, what do you do? Hey, Mr. Nurse, what do you think? You think I'm going to be okay? You think it's broken? You think I'm sick? You think it's cancer? And what does the nurse always say? Let's wait until the doctor comes in. Let's wait to see what the doctor says. Even though the nurse probably knows, but they're not qualified. They're not the licensed medical professional. But now the bookkeeper and the CPA, same thing. The bookkeeper knows a ton about finances, knows a ton about accounting, but the bookkeeper is not the licensed tax professional. So the bookkeeper takes care of you daily, weekly, monthly, and then hands off the financial reports to the tax preparer, CPA, enrolled agent, and then they file your taxes. Just like the doctor performs the surgery, provides the diagnosis, writes the prescription, so too does your tax preparer prepare the taxes and represent you in front of the IRS. So great analogy. Let's see. Next question. How do you use QuickBooks for multiple clients? So I'm not quite sure what you mean, but you are going to have your own QuickBooks account, and then all of your clients are going to invite you to their QuickBooks. So you sign up for QuickBooks. It's called QuickBooks Online Accountant for free. You sign up for QuickBooks for free. You have your own username and password. Your clients invite you to their QuickBooks. Valissa. Hi, Zach. What is your take on doing bookkeeping for clients in other states? Great. I do it all the time. I've got clients all over the country. Would a firm need to license their business in every state? Nope. Absolutely not. No, you do not need to do that. You can certainly provide bookkeeping for others. So think about bookkeeping. Bookkeeping is really just a specialized office manager, an expert administrative assistant. We are really just glorified virtual assistants. We are just specialized virtual assistants. So there's no licensing requirement. We don't need to be CPAs or enrolled agents. We don't need to have a tax preparer identification number to just do bookkeeping. We are literally just recording transactions, reconciling accounts, and creating financial reports inside of QuickBooks Online. One time, 47, no kids, debt, or wife. I work an easy job with tons of free time. Associate's degrees are free. Would you go for bachelor's and then CPA, or just do bookkeeping enrolled agent? So this is what I did. Back in the day, 5 years ago, I got out of the military. I had some military benefits. And so I went to college for free, one class at a time, using my military benefits, went back to school for free. I took intro to accounting, and then I took 9 more undergraduate and graduate level accounting classes. I wanted to eventually become a CPA, but then my bookkeeping business took off so much, and I kind of had to do some soul searching. I kind of had to ask myself, why do I want to become a CPA? There's two reasons why you might want to become a CPA. Reason number one, you love taxes. You want to do taxes, file taxes, provide tax strategy, communicate with the IRS. You live and breathe and love taxes. If that's the reason, absolutely. Go get your CPA, do taxes for the rest of your life, make tons of money, have a great life. The second reason, anything other than the fact that you love taxes and you want to do taxes or audits. Don't forget about audits. You could also do audits if you want, taxes and audits. Reason number two, that you want to become a CPA, any reason other than reason number one. If it's reason number two, let me encourage you, don't do it. If you're going to do it because you think your friends are going to be impressed, or you want to impress your parents, or you think you're going to feel better about yourself, or that, hello, you think you're going to make more money, don't do it. Let me just tell you, I'm not a CPA. I have friends who are CPAs. In 2023 and 2024, just from doing bookkeeping, I made a lot more money just by doing bookkeeping than a lot of my friends who are CPAs. So don't do it just because you want to make more money. You can absolutely make a ton of money just doing bookkeeping. Only do it if you live, breathe, and love taxes or audits. But absolutely, go back to school. If it's free, go back to school and you can definitely get more education. All right, that's it. Hey Zach, I appreciate all the information you provide. Thank you. I have $50,000 and am interested in Zip Capital. Kim Sawyer 4177. Send me an email if anybody wants to invest into Zip Capital. Let me just drop my email address real quick. Send me an email and we can set up a time to talk. Even if you're not an accredited investor, you won't be able to invest in Zip Capital, but let's still have a conversation. We can still talk about it. So thank you all so much. Really appreciate everybody. Thank you for watching. If you want to invest in Zip Capital, you can register on my website. It's down below. You can register. You can learn more. We can chat about it. I would love to talk to you. If not, I will see you all tomorrow. Same time, same place. Have a great day, everybody.